This is an animated movie, but it's not entirely for kids. In fact, it can get pretty heavy and dark. This is Mary and Max. Set in the mid-1970s, 8-year-old Mary Dingle, played by Toni Collette, is a lonely Australian child. She makes her own toys, and she has horrible parents. She's the only child of an alcoholic mother and a depressed father. One day, Mary randomly picks a name out of a Manhattan phone book and writes to him.
Mary had an idea. She would write to one of the Americans and ask where babies came from.
Because asking strangers that question always ends well.
My favorite color is brown, and my favorite food is sweetened condensed milk.
This is Max Horowitz. He's played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's overweight, he has Asperger's, he's living alone in New York, he suffers social anxieties, confused by people, new things frighten him, and he loves chocolate hot dogs. He writes back, he sets her straight where babies come from.
They came from eggs laid by rabbis. If you aren't Jewish, they're laid by Catholic nuns. If you're an atheist, they're laid by dirty, lonely prostitutes.
And he tells his story over the course of a narrated montage, and it's fascinating. It builds his character immediately and lets you know who he is in a short period of time. His quirks aren't for the sake of making him quirky. I mean, it's too easy to call his character pathetic, but he's struggling with mental illness. He has weird mannerisms and habits which look strange to others, but absolutely have reason. Mary's mom finds Max's letter, but she doesn't approve of her daughter having such a weirdo as a pen pal. But Mary finds the letter in the trash, and she writes back. This time she arranges for her neighbor to receive Max's mail. See, her neighbor is agoraphobic. Mary collects his mail for him, so this works out. And you can see how heavy this movie already is. Alcoholism, depression, mental illness, bullying, abuse. Add some nudity and you got any average show on HBO. And thus begins a 20-year correspondence. We follow their lives separately, through letters to each other. They advise each other, they support each other, they share their lives. It's a beautiful, long-distance friendship.
Mary's letter triggered memories Max had buried deep down in his shoes.
Let's get him cornered now! Hey, Jew boy, you're gonna pay!
These characters are rich and detailed.
Let's go. I told you never to talk to strangers. No.
The grip of love had her by the throat.
Even the side characters are fleshed out.
My neighbor Ivy is also an atheist. She doesn't talk much, but makes me very good soup on Sunday nights. She is partly blind, and sometimes I find her hair in my soup.
Nobody is disposable. Everyone has an effect on everyone's lives around them.
He's scared of outside, which is a disease called homophobia. He started giving me 50 cents a week to get his mail.
And every one of them shapes Mary and Max's worlds.
It would be good if there was a fat fairy. She would be a bit like the tooth fairy, but would suck out your fat.
And I love the soundtrack. The music is sometimes peppy, sometimes emotional. It's used to great effect. There's a scene late in the movie involving Mary. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you've seen it, you know what scene I'm talking about. You won't hear Que Sera Sera the same ever again. This is stop motion, but the director shoots it like an actual movie. Even in black and white, the images are striking. And you also get the sense that these are real people with real lives, and they're so expressive. And most of this movie is told through letters, and it's riveting. Max's letters are especially amusing.
When I was young, I invented an invisible friend called Mr. Ravioli. My psychiatrist says I don't need him anymore. So he just sits in the corner and reads.
I'm saving to buy a castle in Scotland and marry a man called Earl Grey. Yesterday at school, Bernie Clifford weed on my spam sandwich.
And Mary's letters are really sweet and innocent.
I better go now. My tears are smudging my words.
And all you can think about through this entire movie is, will these two ever meet face to face? That ending, I'm not going to spoil it. One, I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't already seen it. And two, I really don't feel like crying on camera right now. So do yourself a favor. See this movie. This is a 10 out of 10, 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, A+. Bring tissues. I think everyone has a movie or two that makes them cry. What's yours? So that was Mary and Max. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I could use the encouragement. I'm Tom. This is The Newbie. Thanks for watching.